Hey, Wilson here. I want to revisit something I shared with the table class about a month ago on a Sunday morning. We were looking at the letters of Paul. We had just come to Paul's letter to the Philippians. Now, in my experience, if one person only knows one verse or one passage out of the letter to the Philippians, it's either Paul's urging the Philippians to have the mind of Christ at the very beginning of chapter 2, or it's chapter 4, verse 13, Paul's words, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. In my experience, there is no verse of the Bible more abused than Philippians 4:13. I say abused because there are a whole lot of people who take that one verse, lift it completely out of the context of what Paul was saying, and try to turn it into something that says what Paul never intended. I can do all things through him who strengthens me. That becomes, I can get by on only 4 hours of sleep a night through him who strengthens me. Or I can take on more responsibility than any sane person ever would through him who strengthens me. Or I can become the kind of person that every man, woman, and child in America, or at least within my life group, admires and looks up to and wants to be like through him who strengthens me. In short, those words of Paul, people try to take and turn into their ticket for becoming a kind of Christian version of Captain America or Wonder Woman. But that's not what Paul was saying to the Philippians. Paul was talking about times when he was financially secure as opposed to times when he didn't know where his next meal was going to come from. And he was saying that whatever his circumstances, he could handle them because of Christ who strengthened him. His actual words, as he wrote there in Philippians, were these: I have learned to be content with whatever I have. I know what it is to have a little, and I know what it is to have plenty. In any and all circumstances, I have learned the secret of being well fed and of going hungry, of having plenty and of being in need. In essence, Paul was saying that whatever his circumstances, Christ was going to be in those circumstances with him, and Christ's presence made it possible for him to deal with whatever it is he had to deal with. All of us are currently going through a situation we would never have chosen for ourselves. We wouldn't have chosen it for our loved ones, wouldn't have chosen it for our friends. Paul would say to us, you can handle it. Not because we've got some kind of superhuman power that makes that available, not as a result of gritting our teeth and toughing it out in our own willpower, but because we have a Lord whose companionship gives us a resilience, an adaptability, an outlook that enables us to handle what we are living through him who strengthens us. The isolation so many of us are experiencing, financial uncertainty, shortage of supplies, stress from a variety of factors, all of that's very real. And for the time being, it's inescapable. But what Paul wrote is also very real. Jesus will walk by our side through every bit of it. And that makes it possible for you and me to say, in the words of the old hymn, whatever my lot, it is well with my soul. Stay safe, beloved. Stay well. Stay confident in God's promises.